Please stop kicking me, cried the young waitress to the CEO. Then a millionaire acted. The clinking of glasses and quiet chatter filled the elegant Green Valley restaurant until a sudden crash cut through the room. A glass of red wine splashed across the marble floor, staining the shoes of a man in a tailored navy suit. Tasha Brooks, the waitress, froze in horror. Her trembling hands clutched the empty tray as she stammered an apology. But before she could finish, Preston Wells, the wealthy businessman she had accidentally spilled wine on, stood up so fast that his chair screeched across the floor. His face turned red with rage. "Do you even know how much this suit costs?" he shouted, his voice echoing through the restaurant. When Tasha tried to back away, he kicked the chair beside her, sending it crashing. The words escaped her trembling lips. "Please stop kicking me." The restaurant fell into complete silence. The only sound was her shallow breathing and Preston's furious voice. Dozens of diners stared, frozen in disbelief. Some looked away, others whispered nervously, but not a single person stood up for her. The manager lingered by the bar, pretending to be busy, terrified of upsetting a powerful client. The entire scene felt suffocating, a moment of raw cruelty playing out in public, while everyone chose to watch. At a corner table, a calm man observed quietly. Malik Thompson, dressed in a plain shirt and jacket, appeared like any other customer, but his sharp eyes missed nothing. His stillness was unsettling, as though he had been waiting for this very moment. Tasha's knees scraped the marble as she gathered the broken glass, her voice barely a whisper. "I am sorry, sir. It was an accident." Preston sneered and muttered, "People like you should not be allowed in places like this." The imbalance of power was unmistakable, and the humiliation was complete. If stories about courage, justice, and redemption move you, make sure to subscribe and like this video so you do not miss the next one. And with that quiet reminder, the story of Tasha Brooks truly began. The restaurant falls into a heavy silence, broken only by the soft clinking of cutlery and hushed whispers. Preston Wells stands tall, his voice sharp with contempt. "You call this service?" he sneers, staring down at Tasha Brooks as if she were invisible. "You are not even capable of holding a glass properly, and yet they let people like you work here?" He pulls a $100 bill from his wallet, flicking it toward her face. The note drifts down like an insult made tangible. "Here," he says coldly. "Payment for tonight's entertainment." Tasha's eyes fill with tears as the bill lands near her shoes. The laughter from Preston's table burns deeper than the red wine stains spreading across his designer suit. Her trembling fingers reach for the broken glass. "I am sorry, sir," she whispers, her voice breaking. "Please, I did not mean—" "Of course you did not mean it," Preston interrupts with mock pity. "People like you never mean anything. You just mess up and expect forgiveness." A heavy silence falls again. The nearby diners lower their heads. Some want to help, but fear keeps their lips sealed. The waiters exchange helpless glances, pretending to be busy. At the edge of the room, Malik Thompson observes quietly, his expression unreadable. He sits alone, his fork untouched, eyes following every cruel gesture. His calmness is unsettling, like the surface of still water hiding a coming storm. The restaurant manager finally approaches, his smile tight and forced. "Mr. Wells, I deeply apologize," he says, bowing slightly. "We'll handle this. Please, enjoy your evening." Preston smirks. "You'd better. I spend thousands here every month. I do not expect incompetence to ruin my night." The manager turns to Tasha, voice trembling with professional restraint. "Tasha, clean this up and please stop creating a scene." Tasha looks up at him, disbelief clouding her eyes. "A scene?" "He kicked me, sir." Her words trail off as the manager's glare hardens. "Enough. Go to the back. Now." The audience of diners watches as she walks toward the kitchen, clutching a napkin to her bruised knee. The sound of her footsteps on the marble floor echoes like a drumbeat of humiliation. In the back room, Tasha collapses onto a stool, covering her face. Her breath trembles. For a moment, she allows herself to break, but only for a moment. Her thoughts go straight to Naomi, her 8-year-old daughter, waiting at home with homework spread across the kitchen table. "I cannot lose this job," she whispers to herself. Not again. Meanwhile, Malik places his napkin neatly beside his untouched meal. He stands and walks calmly toward the counter. His voice is low, composed, but carries authority. "Excuse me," he says to the manager. "May I speak with the owner of this establishment?" The manager blinks, caught off guard. "The owner? Well, he is not available right now. Is there a problem?" Malik's gaze doesn't waver. "Yes," he says quietly. "A serious one. I just witnessed how your staff handles an assault inside your restaurant. I would like the owner to know how you treat your employees, especially when it involves discrimination and physical violence." The manager's face pales. "Sir, please, this is just a misunderstanding." "No," Malik interrupts, his tone still calm. "What I saw was not a misunderstanding. It was a man using money as a weapon, and a business choosing silence over justice." He takes out his phone, scrolling briefly before adding, "And if the owner would like to clarify his stance, he can contact me directly." "Malik Thompson." The manager's eyes widen. The name sounds familiar, though he cannot place it. Malik leaves a crisp business card on the counter, then turns to walk toward the exit. But before leaving, he glances toward the kitchen door, where Tasha stands, half hidden behind a curtain, tears streaking her face. For a brief second, their eyes meet. Malik nods slightly, a silent promise that this will not be the end of her story. Outside, the night air feels colder than usual. Malik looks back through the glass wall of the restaurant, watching Preston laugh with his friends as if nothing happened. His jaw tightens. He knows that face. Preston Wells, CEO of Wells Holdings. A man Malik had been quietly investigating for months for insider trading and financial manipulation. Until tonight, his investigation had been about numbers, documents, and strategy. But now it had a face. A victim and a reason. Malik walks away into the night, pulling out his phone to make a single call. "Andre," he says when the line picks up, his tone low and deliberate. "I think we just found our leverage." Inside the Green Valley restaurant, Preston Wells continues his performance. His laughter fills the room as he leans back in his chair, surrounded by wealthy businessmen. He holds his wine glass like a trophy. "You see," he says loudly enough for everyone to hear, "this is what happens when you let untrained, uneducated people work in fine places. It ruins the experience for everyone." His friends nod, some laughing nervously. Others stay quiet, afraid to disagree. Preston loves the attention. His cruelty has turned into entertainment. At another table, Malik Thompson sits silently, phone in hand, screen dimmed. He records everything. Preston's words, the reactions, the silence of management. Each moment is a piece of a larger puzzle he is already building in his mind. When Preston finally leaves the restaurant, tossing a few bills on the table as if to erase the night's ugliness, Malik watches carefully. His calm face hides a storm. Later that night, Tasha's home. The small apartment is dimly lit. Tasha stands by the sink, washing dishes slowly. Her hands tremble slightly with every movement. The sound of running water hides the quiet sob she tries to suppress. From the other room, a soft voice breaks the silence. "Mom!" Tasha turns, quickly wiping her tears. Naomi, her 8-year-old daughter, stands by the door in her pajamas, holding a crayon drawing. "Look," Naomi says proudly, "it's us. You and me at our own restaurant one day. You're the boss." Tasha forces a smile, kneeling to hug her. "That's beautiful, baby." Naomi's eyes sparkle with hope. "One day I'm going to study hospitality. I'll learn how to cook, how to serve, how to make people smile. Then you'll never have to work late again." For a moment, Tasha's pain softens. She kisses her daughter's forehead. "I know you will, sweetheart. Things will get better soon, I promise." But when Naomi walks back to her room, humming softly, the promise hangs heavy in the air. Tasha knows she's said it many times before, and she's running out of strength to believe it herself. Meanwhile, Malik's apartment. The city glows outside his window as Malik sits at his desk, the screen light reflecting in his calm, focused eyes. Dozens of documents are open on his computer. Financial statements, company filings, internal complaints. The name Preston Wells appears again and again. He scrolls through files with precision, connecting dots that others have ignored. Reports of workplace discrimination. Whistleblower complaints buried under legal jargon. Suspicious wire transfers. He leans back thinking. The pieces fit too perfectly. Preston's arrogance was not new. It was protected. Malik picks up his phone and dials a number. "Andre," he says quietly. It's time to pull those reports from the SEC database. I need everything tied to Wells Holdings. Shell companies, property records, offshore accounts. There's a trail here and I plan to follow it. A voice on the other end responds, "You're serious about this?" Malik's tone is calm, but his words are sharp. That man humiliated someone tonight for sport. If the system won't hold him accountable, then we will. He ends the call and opens a hidden folder on his computer labeled Project Phoenix. Inside are detailed profiles of powerful men he's quietly exposed in the past. CEOs, politicians, executives. Preston Wells is about to join that list. Malik saves the new video clip, Preston mocking Tasha, and renames the file, Wells Restaurant Incident, MP4. For a long moment he stares at the screen. His reflection stares back. A man who has seen injustice too many times to stay silent. Outside, thunder rumbles faintly in the distance. A storm is coming, and Malik knows it is not just the weather. He whispers to himself, "Let's see how powerful you really are, Mr. Wells." The next morning, Green Valley feels different. Quieter, heavier. The staff move carefully, whispering about the night before. The memory of Preston's cruelty still lingers in the air like smoke that refuses to fade. Around noon, Preston Wells walks in again, dressed in a sharp navy suit. His arrogance fills the room before he even speaks. Two of his business partners trail behind him, carrying folders and forced smiles. He acts as if nothing happened. Tasha Brooks stands by the service counter, clutching her notepad. Her hands are steadier today, but her heart races when she sees him. The manager signals her to serve his table. She hesitates for a second, then nods. She needs this job. She walks toward Preston's table, each step heavier than the last. Preston smirks when he sees her. "Ah, it is you again," he says loudly, just enough for nearby tables to hear. "Be careful this time. Would not want another accident, would we?" His partners chuckle weakly, unsure if they should laugh. Tasha keeps her voice calm. "What would you like to order, sir?" Preston glances up at her, eyes cold. A new attitude would be a start. He leans back, satisfied with his own words. The insult lands like a slap. She writes down his order quietly and walks away, her dignity hanging by a thread. Across the room, a familiar face appears, Malik Thompson. He walks in casually, dressed in the same plain shirt and dark jacket as before. No one pays much attention. He takes a seat near the corner, the same table as last time. His calmness is unsettling, his presence intentional. Preston notices him, frowns slightly. "That man again?" he mutters to his associate. Strange coincidence. Malik's eyes remain focused on Preston's table, his expression unreadable. When Tasha passes by, he gives her a small nod, a silent reassurance that something is about to change. Moments later, Preston starts bragging again, loud enough for everyone to hear. "People like her," he says, gesturing toward Tasha, "should be grateful we let them serve in places like this. It gives them purpose." A few guests shift uncomfortably in their seats. The staff stand frozen, unable to interfere. The atmosphere tightens, like air before a storm. Then Malik stands up, slowly, calmly. His chair slides back with a soft scrape that cuts through the silence. He takes a step forward. "That is enough, Mr. Wells." The restaurant falls completely silent. Every eye turns toward him. Preston's smug grin fades into confusion. "Excuse me?" Preston says, laughing nervously. "Who do you think you are?" Malik's voice remains level. "My name is Malik Thompson, CEO of Thompson Enterprises." He pulls out a small badge and places it on the table. "We have been investigating your company, Mr. Wells, for quite some time." Preston blinks, laughter fading from his voice. "This is ridiculous." But Malik continues, his tone firm but calm. "We have records of tax evasion, employee harassment, and financial fraud. And," he adds, glancing toward Tasha, "your public behavior only confirms the kind of man you are." Right then, the restaurant doors open. A woman steps in, sharp suit, composed expression. Rebecca Lang, Malik's legal advisor. She walks directly to Malik and hands him a folder. "Everything is verified," she says clearly. "We have full evidence, video footage, bank records, testimony from former employees." Malik nods. "Thank you, Rebecca." He turns back to Preston. "You should know, Mr. Wells, that as of this morning, Green Valley Restaurant is no longer under your influence. Thompson Enterprises has finalized the acquisition. Gasps ripple through the room. Even the manager freezes. Preston's face drains of color. You bought it? Yes, Malik replies calmly. And the new management will reflect the values this place should have had all along. He looks toward Tasha, who stands speechless near the counter. Ms. Brooks, he says with a faint smile, from today you will lead Green Valley. You will hold 35% ownership. I believe you know what this place truly needs. The room stays silent for a heartbeat, then soft applause begins. It grows louder, spreading through the restaurant. Even the staff who were too afraid to speak before now smile through tears. Tasha covers her mouth, unable to speak. Sir, I do not understand. Why me? Malik steps closer. Because dignity should never be punished. And courage deserves a platform. Preston tries to speak, but Rebecca places a document in front of him. Legal notice of investigation. His hands shake as he reads it. His business partners quietly step away, realizing the fallout has already begun. Tasha's tears fall freely now, but this time they carry relief, not shame. For the first time, she stands tall. Not as a waitress, but as a woman who refused to break. The crowd watches in awe as Malik nods to her once more. Make this place something people can be proud of, he says softly. And with that, the power dynamic that once crushed her shifts entirely. Right there in the same room where she once begged for mercy. Preston Wells is escorted from Green Valley, his face pale, jaw tight. The once confident businessman now feels the weight of his actions. He mutters threats about lawsuits and reputation damage, but Rebecca Lang calmly sets a folder on the table. The authorities have everything, she says. Preston's words falter, realizing his influence no longer protects him. Outside, reporters capture the moment. Within hours, headlines surface online and in newspapers. Local businessman exposed for racial discrimination and fraud, and Green Valley restaurant changes ownership amid scandal. Preston's empire begins to crumble, leaving associates scrambling to distance themselves. His privileges, once untouchable, vanish overnight. Inside, Tasha Brooks walks through the quiet restaurant. Tables gleam, chairs arranged neatly, but it is the emptiness that speaks to her. She sits at the counter where humiliation once weighed heavily, and for a moment allows herself to feel the journey, fear, shame, and now triumph. Her hands rest on the countertop, remembering the trembling moments when she whispered, "Please stop kicking me." Malik Thompson approaches calm as ever. He places a hand gently on her shoulder. "Tasha," he says, "competence, courage, and empathy are the rarest currencies in business. They are worth more than inherited wealth." His eyes are firm but kind, reminding her that true power is measured by who you uplift, not who you crush. She nods slowly, understanding more than ever the difference between revenge and justice. Humiliation and injustice did not break her. They revealed her strength. Walking toward the back of the restaurant, Tasha envisions the future. She begins planning a transformation, not just of her life, but for the community. A section of Green Valley will become a training center, offering hospitality and administrative skills to struggling single mothers and ambitious young workers. This decision is personal and powerful, a living response to the cruelty she once endured. As she oversees the renovations, she imagines Naomi Brooks learning alongside other children, a generation growing up knowing competence and character matter far more than privilege. Tasha smiles quietly, feeling the weight of opportunity she now holds, not just for herself, but for everyone who has been overlooked, underestimated, or humiliated. The moral crystallizes. True justice does not come from watching someone suffer. It comes from building something so valuable and strong that the wrongdoer becomes irrelevant. Tasha's journey embodies this principle. The restaurant is no longer just a workplace. It is a beacon of empowerment, dignity, and hope. Malik observes her from a distance, noting the transformation. Tasha, once the victim of cruelty, has now become a leader whose vision elevates others. The quiet resilience she displayed that day at Green Valley has matured into a force capable of reshaping lives. And with that, the story leaves a simple yet profound truth for viewers. When you rise through integrity, compassion, and hard work, no act of malice can ever stop you. Success becomes the ultimate response to injustice. Before moving forward, a soft reminder. If stories of courage, justice, and transformation inspire you, subscribe to the channel and like this video to witness more tales of triumph and empowerment. 6 months had passed, and Green Valley had transformed completely. Laughter echoed through the space, and the air carried a sense of respect and warmth. New staff members moved with confidence, wearing badges that read, "Kindness served here." Every corner reflected the care and attention that Tasha Brooks had poured into the place. Naomi Brooks, her daughter, was right by her side. After school, she eagerly helped her mother, greeting customers with a bright smile and demonstrating the hospitality lessons Tasha had taught her. Naomi's innocence and joy reminded everyone that growth often begins with small acts of courage and love. Malik Thompson returned quietly, slipping into the bustling restaurant unnoticed at first. His eyes scanned the space, taking in the staff working harmoniously and the customers enjoying their meals. Tasha noticed him and smiled, a deep sense of gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you for believing in me," she whispered softly. Malik nodded, his calm demeanor unchanged, but his pride in her achievement evident. Preston Wells' downfall remained visible, though now only in distant whispers. He worked as a low-level salesman in a building materials store, unnoticed and ignored by the people who once praised him. His arrogance had been stripped away completely. The man who had mocked, humiliated, and disrespected others was now learning humility in the most basic way, through honest labor. Tasha reflected quietly, understanding a truth she had come to embrace fully. Revenge was never about destroying someone else. Real power was about rising above cruelty, creating a life and a legacy so strong that the actions of those who tried to harm you became meaningless. The weight of past humiliation no longer held her back. It had become the foundation of her strength. The restaurant had become more than a business. It was now a beacon of hope and opportunity. Tasha embraced Naomi, feeling the warmth of the community she had built around her. Every smile, every polite greeting, every satisfied customer reminded her that the same space that had once broken her spirit now stood as proof of resilience and transformation.
The best revenge is success.
The greatest power is compassion. If this story touched you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because stories like this remind the world that justice still matters.